We all carry burdens, old regrets, lost chances, broken dreams. But what if the secret to peace isn't holding on, but learning to release? This story will show you how letting go isn't losing. It's finding the courage to step into something greater than you ever imagined. In a quiet mountain village lived a young man named Kiran. He was known for his strength and determination, yet everyone could see that his heart carried a weight heavier than stone. Though his hands built, his feet climbed, and his eyes dreamed, his spirit seemed tied to something unseen. Kiran had once been engaged to a woman named Amara. She was gentle, kind, and full of laughter. But years ago, fate had taken her suddenly during a harsh winter storm. Since then, Kiran carried her memory like a chain around his chest. He refused to laugh, refused to dream new dreams, and every day he visited the old oak tree where they used to meet, holding on to the past with desperate hands. One morning, the village elder, a wise woman named Sahana, called for Kiran. She had watched him with quiet concern and knew he was trapped in grief. "Kiran," she said softly as he entered her hut, "why do you still walk as though carrying boulders on your back?" He frowned, confused. "Because if I let go, elder, it will be as if Amara never existed. Her memory is all I have left. I must hold on." Sahana studied him with eyes as deep as the river. She reached behind her and pulled out a smooth clay jar. "Come with me," she said. She led him to the river that wound through the valley. Placing the jar in his hands, she instructed, "Fill this jar with stones and carry it as you walk along the water." Kiran obeyed, though puzzled. He filled the jar with heavy stones until it was almost too much to lift. Then he walked beside the river, step after labored step, the jar pressing into his arms. "Do you feel the weight?" Sahana asked. "Yes," he gasped. "It is exhausting." "Now tell me," she continued, "does carrying it bring you peace? Does it honor the stones?" Kiran shook his head. "No, it only makes me weaker." "Then why do you insist on carrying it?" she asked quietly. He stopped walking. A strange realization stirred in him. The stones were not Amara. The jar was not her memory. Yet by holding on, he was suffering without reason. Sahana touched the jar. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means giving your heart space to breathe again. You carry Amara's love by living, not by chaining yourself to sorrow. Kiran stood by the riverbank, staring at the stones. His hands trembled. Slowly, he tipped the jar and let the stones fall into the water. They splashed, sank, and disappeared beneath the current. For the first time in years, his arms were free. That night, he went to the oak tree again. Instead of sitting in silence, he spoke aloud to the wind. "Amara, I will always love you, but I must live. I must walk forward, even if my path no longer has you by my side." something shifted in his chest. The grief was still there, but lighter, no longer a prison. The following days surprised the villagers. Kiran began to smile again. He joined others in planting seeds for spring. He helped children climb trees, and he even carved a wooden flute that sang softly in the evenings. One afternoon, a traveler passed through the village. She was an artist named Lena, who painted landscapes and told stories of faraway places. She asked Kiran to guide her through the mountains. For the first time in years, Kiran agreed to walk beyond the oak tree. As they climbed the paths, Kiran spoke not only of the mountain's beauty, but also of its storms. He told her about Amara, not with bitterness, but with tenderness. Lena listened, her eyes full of understanding. At the peak, as the sun set in gold and crimson, Lena said, "You carry love in your voice, Kiran, not loss. That is rare." Kiran looked at her, realizing something profound. By letting go of his endless grip on sorrow, he had made room for new connections, new dreams, and even new love. Not a replacement for Amara, but an expansion of what his heart could hold. Weeks turned into months. Kiran no longer visited the oak tree daily, but when he did, it was not with despair. He would sit beneath its branches, play his flute, and let the music drift into the sky. A gift for Amara, a song of gratitude for the life they once shared. The villagers began to say that Kiran had changed. He was still strong, but no longer weighed down. He was lighter, freer, more alive. And though grief had marked his journey, it no longer defined his destiny. One evening, as he sat by the river, Sahana joined him once more. "You have learned," she said with a smile. Kiran nodded. "I thought letting go meant betraying her, but now I see it means carrying her love forward without being trapped in pain. It means making space for tomorrow." Sahana placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, and that is how every heart must grow. By letting go, we are not leaving behind. We are moving forward with love, with strength, with hope." And so, Kiran's story became a quiet lesson for the whole village. People whispered it by firesides, teaching their children, "When sorrow binds you, do not fear releasing it. For letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of a new path. For in life, to truly move forward, you must first learn to let go."